Okay, well, what's going on is that we have in the background behind all this other monkey mess. What's his name? Trump is still around.
Yes.
Spreading his hate. And now my main message is, say 5 years ago, if just one branch or one person, maybe in each branch of the law, had got in his space instead of standing behind his back, kissing up into a deep, dark place. All this murder and the murder rate tripling, it would have never happened. Now, if I knew 60 days before he was elected that the murder rate was going to double, law enforcement should have known 2 years ahead of time that the murder rate might triple.
Right.
And nobody has told him to shut up.
Right.
In all these years, by the time he was in office, like 2 years, he had already almost single-handedly created 50 brand new terrorist organizations. Now, you know what's going to happen? Now, what I'm talking about is, in the background, what's causing the problems. Okay, now,
you lost your train of thought.
I lost my train of thought a little bit.
There is a lot going on out here, and I appreciate your even talking about it, because they're still trying to say that Biden has not won the election. They're making all sorts of plans, and this is the problem that I'm having, Brother Wayne, is that we're so distracted by, we keep saying, look, we have to look at what's happening locally, but there are plans being put in place, plans that are happening that's going to impact us. If you thought being able to vote now is going to be a problem, just hold on. And so we're so tired and so battle scar and worn that we're not even seeing, not even really fully paying attention to all the shenanigans that are happening, and that is designed to happen that way. I want to thank you for calling in, though, and bringing our attention to it again. Okay.
Okay, but I got one more thing I want to say.
Yes, sir.
Okay, people are not paying attention to what's really causing the problem. This guy's been creating a toxic environment for like 8 years now. And all they had to tell him 6 or 7 years ago was to shut up. One word. That's all they had to say.
Yeah. But
you know, instead of kissing up behind his buttock.
But
all
Brother
they had
Wayne,
to say was one word.
Brother Wayne, let me just tell you, as someone who has sat in those back rooms, it is not that simple. It is not that simple. There's a whole machine behind him, around him, that has been going on since the 1970s, sir, so that by the time he got to this place in 2018, 2019, 2020, the thing about Republicans, are about people who are in a place where they want to get stuff done, they're willing to be patient. Donald Trump, from what we understood, from everything that we've read and learned about him, was being groomed for years and years and years. So he knew he was going to become president at some point. A little surprised that it happened, and then he just ran with it, right? So it's not as simple as telling him to shut up. It just isn't that simple. In fact, he's no longer president, sir, but he's got people frightened and afraid because he has a machine behind him. On top of that, because we spend so much time moaning and griping about certain things that really, at the end of the day, are inconsequential. And I just lost my train of thought, but I'll come back to it. Something is the hacking of our systems here in the country. The major food supply meat packing plant was hacked. People are not talking about it. We talked about the fact that the ferry over to Martha's Vineyard, because, black folks, we like to talk about the things that impact us. That was hacked. Either KYW or CBS, one of them was hacked mercilessly some months ago that no one really talked about because there were so many other things going on. Our electrical grid, our water supply, all the things that we need to be considering and thinking about, because just because Donald Trump is no longer in office does not mean that he has gone away. I need us to be very mindful of that, okay? Thank you for calling in, sir. I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye. All right, let me see who I have left. Mike from New Jersey, how are you?
Ms. Sanders, good afternoon. How are you?
Whoo, child, I am fine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It's good to hear that you're back.
Yes,
I want to address, not the last caller, not the caller before that, which was your guest, but the caller before that was talking about gentrification. Mm-hmm. And I want to put something out there, and I want you to ponder on it for a minute. And without sellers, there are no buyers. Mm-hmm. Now, let me repeat that. Without sellers, there are no buyers. I hear about gentrification a lot on your show. You and I have spoke once or twice in the past.
Yes, I remember you.
So, good, thank you. Again, not to repeat myself, but I'm going to do it anyways. Without sellers, there are no buyers. So the gentrification happens. One of the ways that it happens, quite frankly, is people inherit homes. They're looking for a quick buck. They turn around and sell at reduced rates. Someone like me comes in and buys the property. There are times where I buy properties, Ms. Sanders, without even putting $1. Well, I want to say not putting $1 in my pocket. I don't pay the person at all. All I do is I simply get them under contract. I do my due diligence. I have a title company do a title search to make sure that that person actually owns the home and see what liens there are against the property. I can usually have that done within 7 business days. I then take that contract. I sell it to an investor for, let's say, a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 profit, and then that investor ends up giving the seller the money. I didn't do anything. All I did was put out a few $100s on my pocket for a title company search, and I turn around and I sell it to an investor who will pay me more, and I've done essentially nothing. And this is just one of the many ways, and I see it, again, quite frankly, quite a bit, where people inherit property. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it may be, have passed. They're looking for a quick dollar, and they sell the property, Ms. Sanders, at a reduced rate to get the quick dollar, but yet they still rent. So they'll take that money. They'll take that $100,000, let's say hypothetical $100,000, $80,000, whatever it may be, $200,000. They'll take that money, and they'll still continue to rent, and then yet they'll go out and they'll buy a brand new car, which is a depreciating asset. You never ever buy brand new. Let somebody else.
You know what,
always buy used.
Mike, hold on one second. I am going to take a quick break, and then you and I are going to come back and have a real, visceral, honest conversation. Is that all right? Because people will get mad about what you're saying, but it's a conversation I had last week that we're buying brand new cars, and it's not just black folks. It's just folks in general.
Yes, ma'am. Right? It's everyone.
Cars depreciate at an alarming rate. With the money that we would save from not buying a brand new car could be used in an investment, but we don't think about those things, right? We want what we, and I get it, there's a history here for us, and it makes a difference. But you have to be willing to hold on for a little bit to get what you want then on the other side. And real estate is king. $100,000 will disappear out of your hands in the blink of an eye if you don't know what you're doing with it. Can be gone in a month or less, right? Hold on one second, Mike. Hold on. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
More than joint replacement, it's total joint care. Einstein Orthopedics offers minimally invasive, same-day procedures like anterior hip replacement and knee replacement surgery. Our board-certified surgeons and dedicated team will give you personalized care every step of the way. From your first appointment to surgery to post-procedure follow-up care, Einstein Orthopedics offers everything you need to get moving again. Visit einstein.edu/totaljoint to learn more.
Welcome Black It's time to reawaken, reopen, and renew as WURD kicks off our annual 4WURD Early Bird Membership Special. Beginning Monday, June 7th, we've stood together every step of the way during the pandemic. Here at WURD, our hosts and producers, elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and of course, the phone lines. We've stayed connected by every means necessary. Let's welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with WURD. Join us Friday, June 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our first In the Community broadcast in over a year as we broadcast live from Fresh Grocer, 4160 Monument Road. It's WURD Radio back in the community. Start or renew your sustaining 4WURD membership for the special discounted price of $75. Or if you just want to support the work we're doing, there is now an option to become a digital 4WURD member for as little as $5 per month. Visit wordradio.com/earlybird between June 7th and June 19th to take advantage of our early bird discounted membership special.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
With everything going on, there may be times you feel like you can't handle it all. Journaling, meditating, and talking with friends and family can help you feel more grounded and better able to cope. Your kids are also going through a lot of new experiences, and simply talking with them about their feelings can be quite powerful.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I have on the line with me Mike from New Jersey. Are you still there, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So I'm going to, now remember now, you and I said you and I are going to have a visceral conversation. Are you white? Are you white?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, this is the conversation that folks are going to have, right? You are white and you don't understand, and you just come in and you buy up the properties. But you made a point. We can't. If you're not selling, people will not buy. Here's the other issue, though, Mike. The properties are becoming so expensive for people who spent years and years there, they can't even afford to pay the property taxes anymore. So it makes sense for them to sell. So what is the happy medium so that people are not forced to leave their neighborhoods but still sell if they want to bring other people in? What is the happy medium in your opinion?
Well, ma'am, that's no different than in any neighborhood. That's not a black-white issue, Ms. Sanders. That is just a human issue. And you mentioned a moment ago that I live in New Jersey. You know, I pay a little over $12,000 a year in property taxes here in New Jersey. And again, it's not a black-white issue. That's just an economic issue. If I couldn't afford to pay my almost $12,000, well, a little over $12,000, but $12,083, I think, something like that. But if I couldn't afford to pay my $12,083 a year in property tax, I would be, quite frankly, out on my backside as well as my family. So it's one of those things that I have to plan accordingly. I have to think ahead and plan accordingly for my life and the decisions that I make today and tomorrow to ensure that I can afford those property taxes going up. Because, Ms. Sanders, those property taxes aren't going down. I don't care.
You're right.
I don't need to repeat this. This is not a black-white issue. This is just a human issue. Your property taxes where you live are not going down. So if you don't plan accordingly, if you don't save, if you don't delay gratification, and that's one of the things that a lot of people, and again, and I know when I get off the air, I'll be called a racist, I'll be called this and that, because I've heard these conversations before. I just, this is not a black-white issue. This is a human issue. If you delay gratification, this is every race. People want to go out and they want to buy things now, today. They want those new sneakers today. They want that new car today. They want to go on that trip today. They want that big screen TV today. But what they're not thinking of is, hey, how am I going to pay, again, I'll refer back to me, how am I going to pay my $12,000 taxes, every quarter? Where am I going to come up with the $4,000 every quarter I have to pay because I don't have a mortgage on my home, so I pay my taxes separately? Where am I going to come up with those dollars? And before I go out and buy a new car, or before I go out and buy that new big screen TV, I have to stop and think, how am I going to afford that? Not just next quarter, but next year. So the answer to your question, Ms. Sanders, is very simply this. It's planning ahead. It's knowing that those taxes, that home is going to need maintenance. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There is no, you kick the can down the road and hope and pray, but you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your family when you don't save for those inevitable repairs.
So let me ask you this, because you hear us talk about the fact that living in America, there are options, there are certain privileges that that are afforded to white folks that are not afforded to black folks, right? You've seen us talk about this over the God knows how many years. You're very aware that I was not born and raised in these United States, and so I have a slightly different perspective, but I've lived here long enough and raised children here long enough to understand that there's some validity, quite a bit of validity to what we're talking about. Oftentimes when people are hired of color, they don't get paid the same. They have to fight differently, right? They can't even afford to pay their mortgage and the taxes on time, much less do the maintenance. So would you say that if we, because when you look at it, some of it, yes, Mike, I agree with you. Some of it is just blowing money because we just blow money. I am not ever going to disagree with you on that. I've had visceral conversations over the last God knows how many years about delaying the gratification, about, staying where you are and holding on to your property and fixing that property versus running from one place to the other, to the other, to the other, so that you can keep up with the Joneses. Like all of that stuff. Like it's all the stuff that's going on. But a lot of it, Mike, is about, people just never being able to get a foot up, a leg up to do the things that they want to do. So mommy and daddy bequeathed the house to them and left it for them, and then they can't afford to pay the taxes because they don't make enough money to pay the taxes. And so for them, it's like, let me take this quick sale, not realizing that in Philadelphia alone, sir, the worth of our properties are going to skyrocket because we sit between New York City and Washington, D.C. Can we talk, right? And from what the property taxes and the value of properties are between those three states, New Jersey, New York, and in Washington, D.C. and Virginia, Philadelphia seems like you can buy things on the pennies. I am looking around me and I see most of my new neighbors are from New York. They're like, what? I can buy a whole house for this? And so we have to, it becomes about mindset, about really looking at, all right, I feel like I'm struggling here. Where can I figure out, how can I get a little bit of help? And that's why the people on this radio station consistently call and say, we need more support from our leadership. You know what I'm saying? To give people what they need. So I hear your point on one end, and on the other end, I see where that's coming from. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. And I'll answer your question. You asked about what happens when and I'll quote you here, mommy and daddy die. Well, where is mommy and daddy? Where is their responsibility, Ms. Sanders, to talk to their children about what home ownership actually costs? See, everything comes at a cost. You can kick the can down the road, or you can take responsibility. Now, again, I know I'm going to be called a racist. This has nothing to do with race, Ms. Sanders. This is I buy homes in white neighborhoods. I buy homes in black neighborhoods. I buy homes in every neighborhood. So this is not a black-white issue. But let's say Junior is now left the home. He or she doesn't have any money. Well, why don't they have the money? Because they know eventually they're going to get that home. They know eventually. Look. That we all pass. That's one thing about human beings. We're all on this earth for a certain amount of time. And I know me personally, I know that I'm eventually going to get my parents home, eventually. And when that, but when that day comes, I better be prepared to be able to pay the taxes on that home. And if I can't afford to pay the taxes because I didn't plan ahead, then I have to sell that home. And if I have to sell that home, that's fine. But don't sell it to the first guy that knocks on your door that offers you, a lowball offer. Put the home up for sale. Go through a realtor. Interview several realtors. Do your due diligence. You just don't go, oh, my God, I got this house, and somebody just offered me $100,000 for it. Wow, $100,000 is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. Hold on to that. But to the person, Mike, my apologies for cutting you off, but to the person that doesn't have, that has never seen this kind of money, it is a lot of money. You understand where I'm coming with that? Yes, ma'am. It is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it is not, because again, it's thinking down the road. It's not living for today. Again, it's what I mentioned to you before a moment ago, ma'am. It's delaying that gratification. It's not, oh my God, I can get $100,000 today. It's like, hey, wait a minute. If he's offering me $100,000, what's this house actually worth? Let me do some research. Let me just go on Google and put in my address and see what this house, see what it just says on Google what this house is worth. I mean, that doesn't take any education. And again, I want to repeat myself probably for the 5th time. This is not a black or white issue. This is a human issue. I see it, and I see this not just in black neighborhoods. I see it in white neighborhoods as well. But I will tell you that I do see it a little bit more in black neighborhoods, simply because that's just the reality. I do see it a little bit more. People are a little bit more apt to take the money as opposed to some white neighbor. Not all, but some. So again, you know you're going to get this home. You know it's coming. So where is your responsibility? I have to make sure that A, you can afford the taxes when the house is finally in your name, or B, have an exit strategy. Let's just say that there's no way you can afford to pay taxes on mom and dad's home, and you know you're going to be a renter forever. That's okay. It's nothing wrong with renting. You know that you're never going to be able to have the financial wherewithal to afford mom and dad's house. You know you're going to get the house. Have an exit strategy for when that day comes. Have that conversation with mom and dad about, hey, what do I do when that day comes that I get left this home? What should I do? Do I try to live in it? Do I try to pay the taxes myself? If you can afford to pay the taxes yourself, do it. Don't rent.
Right. You know what, Mike? Thank you so much. First of all, I appreciate you even taking the time to call.
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
We're going to talk because the callers are on here just lacing up the Facebook page.
Oh, I know.
But you got them talking and you got them thinking, and that's why every opinion matters here. Thank you so much, sir. I'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Bye bye. All right. Bye bye. So listen, we're gonna come back and talk about what Mike said, because. Listen, I want you all take the emotion out of it and hear some of what he is saying. I'm telling you, when we come back, we're going to talk about this. And I also have Jesus. I think I have Gary on the line. I love you all. Can I just tell you I love you all? I love you all. I love you all to pieces, because this is going to be a good conversation. But it needed to happen. Not everybody that calls, Mike comes from a white lens because he sees things differently. This is how he was taught to do certain things. Our goal now is to work, and Mike may or may not ever get it, but I want you to hear some of the key words that he said in this conversation. We're going to come right back, and then I'll take some of the Gary from Southwest. Hold on, Gary, and Charles from Philadelphia. Lord, hold on, y'all. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk media. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Before I take Charles and Gary, hold on, because you all lit up the Facebook. And I know Mike is listening, right? And so Lynette says, caller, how can you plan ahead when you are always robbed of opportunities and not get the same things that white people get when they plan ahead? You can't say that about black people who have never had what you had, because there is systemic racism, and that's all there is to it. Melissa said, he's not going to answer honestly. They have redlined our neighborhood, so people like him swooping in by our houses for pennies. Malcolm White says, the caller, Mike, is talking from white privilege perspective. All right. Tiffany said, that is why we need to teach financial literacy to our community. I agree, Tiffany. Lucy Lou Sand said, how about they keep harassing you to sell? True, Lucy. Every day, can we buy your property? Can we buy your property? Malcolm White again says, white conservatives come with the same narrative. So Linda Shields says, how about if there's no mommy and daddy? We are missing the parent element in black households, Michael. I was a single parent by choice because my mate was too detrimental to my mental and physical health, so I had to pull the weight myself, and I did, and I am proud of myself, but I always held back in many opportunities because I was black. Maurice Wallace says, Andrea, remind the caller that oppressed people, black, white, or whatever, do not often have the opportunity to plan ahead and save money. You heard me saying that to him, Maurice. I said it to him. You know, some folks just don't have it. It views lack of empathy and comes off as arrogant. Whoo. So Karen Spotted Eagle says, aside from taxes, there will be estate tax over and above capital appreciation from the original sale price. These things often give rise to foreclosures as well. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Kent Jewell said, Mike is making a number of assumptions based on his existence. He has not put himself in the situation that does not account for reality of many. Malcolm White says, I have family members with 2 properties and they are struggling to hold on to. And Colette says, all black people aren't poor. So Joseph Simmons says, tell Mike to kick rocks. Again, Philadelphia has the highest black home ownership in America. Phew, child. Y'all, Mike called in and everybody, Lord have mercy. Oh, and Kent Jewell sent something that says, why middle-aged white men fail to recognize their privilege. I'll read that article when I have a minute. Let me just go ahead and take Charles. Charles, are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Ooh, they're giving me my money's worth.
I see. I mean, if I could, I wanted to go back to the first topic you spoke on about 20 minutes ago involving the violence and policing in the city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm one who spent 30 years on the Philadelphia Police Department, now retired recently. Mm-hmm. And it was a gentleman that had called in prior today. He was speaking and saying that that McNesby was the commissioner, and he couldn't be so more wrong than that. Mm-hmm. Let me just give you a quick rundown. John McNesby, he's the president of the FOP, who represents the police union, and officers who are in the police union, they negotiate our medical, they negotiate our salaries, they negotiate and also represent officers who face disciplinary actions internally with the police department. That's what the FOP represents, and not only outside of giving to charitable places and things of that nature. So, and then the police commissioner, she runs the police department. That's her job, or his job. The mayor runs the city, and that's it in a nutshell. But when you're talking about the city of Philadelphia in terms of violence is concerned, you know, he was also wrong talking about the Junior Black Mafia. Junior Black Mafia has not been around since the 90s, since I was on as a rookie cop. They don't exist anymore. The Spanish gangs and all that doesn't exist anymore. Are there neighborhood gangs? Yes, there are, but there's nothing like it was in the 90s. So those things have been abolished. So he was wrong on that as well. However, since the recent, I call it, nobody else want to call it what it was, the riots in the city. There were some protests. But after the protesters went away, it turned into civil war. Police officers who put their lives on the line. We don't get dressed every single morning, kiss our wives and husbands goodbye and our families and kids, and say that we're going to go out here and look to kill someone. That's not what we do. We go out here and serve the public and the communities in which we patrol. That's the oath that we take, and that's the oath that we do. These are the things, because bad news sells. It doesn't. You won't see the officer who constantly stops the ice cream truck in the neighborhood of North Philly somewhere and, you know, buy the whole entire neighborhood ice cream for the children. You don't see that. You don't see the officers playing jumper with the kids and taking them to the stores and taking them to the water parks or sitting there with them to make sure that they're safe while they're in the water plugs. That doesn't sell. That's not good news. So all police officers are not bad. Is there bad in policing? Yes, it is, like any other career that's out there. But my experience in this police department has been good. So when you're talking about recently with the homicide rate in this city, well, you know, I haven't heard anyone talk about the current district attorney. You might as well call him let him go Larry. This man, anybody that the officers who are out there doing their job, patrolling every single day, taking guns off the street, stopping violent criminals, locking up murderers. All right, I've never seen something like this in my life where an officer does his job correctly, takes his job to have it processed, and then it goes to a unit called DACU, D-A-C-U, which is the District Attorney's Charging Unit, which sits in the basement of the CJC. The officer does his job, gets the guns off the street. The guy is a 3-time felon. And the next thing you know, the district attorney's office calls back to the detective bureau and says, let the guy go. All you have is a gun confiscation. So all you have now is a wash, rinse, and repeat of the same criminal on the street less than 8 hours after being arrested for a felony of carrying a gun illegally on the street. He's let go by the district attorney's office. This happens every single day, all day long. You know, time in and time out. The officers are doing their job. You have the district attorney's office who's failing to prosecute. And I'll say it, and if no one else want to say it, I'll say it. I'm speaking for those men and women who are on the street. And I've been there for 30 years. This is the worst administration I've ever seen in my career.
Okay, so Charles, let me ask you this. You're saying that the police officers are actually doing their jobs, taking it to the district, because I want to make sure that I'm not putting words in your mouth, taking it to the district attorney's office, and the district attorney's office is letting them go? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they are. Absolutely. No one.
So let me ask you this, Charles. When they're saying that crimes are not solved, that people are not caught, don't they have to be caught for the district attorney to take the case?
Say that one more time, please.
All right. So when we see all this crime happening in the city, I just want you to work with me here, so that because I want to make sure that I'm hearing you clearly and you're hearing me clearly. And they say that the people were not caught. Don't they have to be caught to be taken to the district attorney? Like a lot of these crimes are just not solved.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. The crime. See, these are not everything involves a crime. We have things where we look on something called a Part 1 sheet, which are in your particular districts. You have people who are wanted for various of crimes, from robberies to homicides to rapes, and then they give you wanted pictures, and you ride around in your zone. They tell you their last known location where they live. And we go in those areas, and you have officers who are aggressive enough to get these violent offenders off the street. So you see them, and you stop them, and you lock them up. And then you may catch 1 or 2 of them that has an illegal weapon on them. And so with that, you take them to process them at the nearest district, near district detective bureau. The detectives process the whole job. It's a ton of paperwork involved. They'll send the paperwork down to DACU. They have to review it before it goes to the courts. So before it even gets there, it gets dropped at that level at the DACU unit. The DACU says, you don't have enough on here, let them go. I'm like, what more can you really do? You know, when you have your hands tied.
So what you're telling me is that the police officers are frustrated because they are doing their jobs. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Oh, there's tons of police officers frustrated.
Okay.
Even me, I feel sorry for the rookies that are on, because the veterans like myself are no longer on the job. And that comes to, let me mention, I need to back up just a little bit. When we had these riots in the city, you know, you had a good amount of policing on the street. So what happens was, you've seen a district attorney locked up a few officers, right? And so now his whole thing is that he wants to lock up police. You have people like myself who have 25, 30 years on the job. People have invested their retirements, their pensions and things like that. They're not willing to put that at risk. They're already invested. So why am I putting my clothes on every single day to go out here?
Now you
by the citizens and the district attorney. So they retire. You had a mass exodus of police officers retired at one time. You don't have police on the street, plain and simple. Go to your local police station anytime, like right now, and look in the driveway and see how many police cars are sitting there. I came on the police force in 1990, 1991, when you had about 40 officers in each district working. Now you're lucky. You go to West Philly in the 16th district, you're lucky if they have 4 or 5 police officers on the street, period. And the 16th is one of the most violent districts in the city as far as homicides and shootings are concerned.
So Charles, what you're saying to me is that the police officers just don't want to, they don't want to put themselves out there because they're not appreciated? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that also, but on top of it, you lost a good value of good veteran police officers who had established themselves in communities for a long time, where where you go into a community or a project in your particular district where the community knows you by your name, and they will ask you to come there because you've done things for them. You established that rapport with the community. These officers who have 25, 35 years on have retired because now, and then when you're talking about you have 6,000 police officers, you don't. You have 6,000 total. That's administrative. That's also in the chain of command. That's from the commissioner on down. So on the street, when they say you have 6,000 police officers, you don't have 6,000 police officers. You may have 2,000 police officers spread out on districts around the city. Everybody else is in special units, and you have supervisors. For now, out there working now like police officers as well because they have to take up the slack. Each police officer is doing the job of 10 people, period.
So, okay, so then, okay, so you're saying,
so high, and you're looking at officers who can't perform their jobs right because they face getting persecuted between the district attorney's office and the citizens in the city. And so these officers also, you know, the self-esteem is gone. The policing, the police department is a great place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing them. But the people, the powers that be who are running it shouldn't be there. They took everything away from it. And these officers right now, they like I said, you're lost. When I put my paperwork in to retire in February, they said I had 3 months before I get my paperwork. I asked them why it would take me so long to get my paperwork. They said because there's 1,100 officers in front of you to get theirs first. That's how many police officers left. That's almost 1/3 of your patrol. So you're lucky if you get 5 to 10 police officers per shift in each district in the city. That covers, most of them is about a square mile. Some of them are 3 square miles long.
So
and
Charles,
the call volumes are left and right.
So you're saying that they're not getting the arrest that they need to get. Again, I'm trying not to put words in your mouth from what I'm hearing you say, that they're not getting what they need to have done because they're stretched very thin. Instead of the 6,000, they're 2,000. Because someone asked here, Maurice says, Charles is conveniently leaving out cases brought by the police that lack sufficient evidence. Previous DAs would prosecute cases whether the evidence was credible or not. Would you agree or disagree with that, sir?
Sure, I agree.
Okay. Okay.
I do agree.
Okay.
But based on the administrations that I've been through, and speaking candidly, because I've done this job for 30 years, this is one of the worst administrations that has set and have been placed before Philadelphia. You know, we don't have, the police officers feel like they don't have a voice. They don't feel like they have their department that backs them up. You know, so what you have, they're hesitant. You know, nobody wants to come to work and get themselves shot or get themselves injured when you don't have a city or department that don't back you up.
Right.
So what happens is you have an officer who will just come to work, do his job, and go home. He or she is not going to be aggressive out looking for someone wanted for murder. This is the reason why people in your communities can sleep well at night, because you have police officers who patrol your neighborhoods and keep these guys off the street. It's not because you're in a safe neighborhood. It's because you have officers. And now when you have this, now notice the numbers. If you do the research on them, notice since after the riots we have here, how the crime has spiked up 40%.
Right.
Because you lost most of your police officers to retirement. Those, some retire and some resign. And then some are just, and then you don't have anybody applying for this job.
So
who
let me
wants
ask
to come live in this city right now not knowing who their neighbor's going to be?
Okay,
and
so
you
let
do
me
this
ask.
job.
But let me ask you this, Charles. Do you believe that police hold some responsibility for what has happened over the years? Do you believe there has been police brutality? Do you believe that there have been some really bad apples in your bunch?
Absolutely, and I experienced it back in the early 90s. I worked in the Roxborough in the 5th District. I was probably the 4th or 5th black officer in that district. And, you know, I remember going to certain assignments, and they had an area in Roxborough, and it's known, they called it Little Africa. And I said, well, what is Little Africa? They said, well, this is where all the black people live. This was told me by another white officer who was training me at the time. And I almost lost my job because I almost got into a fist fight with him. You know, and so I came through, absolutely there's racism in this police department. And a lot of them hide behind the ranks that sit at the top. And so you don't dare, you as an officer, see, that's why if you look on the news, you only see one specific person on the TV, the chief speaking on the news, because police officers have a gag order. They can't speak to the media when crime happens. So he's paraphrasing crimes that happen in the street. think that's Chief Small. He's the only one on TV speaking because he's the only one that's allowed to. But police officers are the one that run the district. They know who the guys are. They know who the movers and the shakers are because the streets do talk to the police officers because we've been in those communities for years.
So
Miss Johnson or Miss Smith is going to call me or call the officer they're comfortable with saying, hey, can you fix this problem for me? Sure, we can.
So, Charles, I am going to corroborate some of what you just said just now because I have been working with police officers for decades, quietly. And one of the things that the blue shirts would always say to me is this: we're the ones in the community working with the people, and oftentimes what gets translating in the news by the top commander or whoever else is not what we have worked with, and it kind of messes up with what we're doing because we're developing relationships, and it comes across as crazy for them. So I can corroborate that because, I can corroborate that because I've seen that and heard that happen quite a few times. But thank you, Charles, for calling in because, listen, I got other callers, but let me tell you, you too have them talking. They're talking, honey.
Let the truth come out. People highly comfortable with lies. Tell the truth people not comfortable with. If you tell the truth, they call you a conspiracy theorist. But
so let me ask you this: do you think McNesby is doing the right things now that you're retiring?
Is now that I'm retiring, that he's doing the right thing in terms of what?
In terms of supporting his officers, I don't know. What do you?
Absolutely. John McNesby, in my opinion, I mean, he's human like anybody else. He makes mistakes like anybody else. He does a great job supporting his police officers and fighting for what's right for the police department and their police officers in terms of their salary, their pay, their medical leave, things to that nature. He does a great job on. He represents them very good. And he also, officers who are wrong, he don't support them. He backs away from them.
He backs away from officers that are wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. So, well, Charles, thank you for calling. You've got them hollering over here on Facebook. Now I got to respond to all of that.
That's great.
It is.
Have me back.
There you go.
I'm not ashamed. I have no more credence to this department. I mean, I've done my 30 years on this job. I'm retired. And, nobody's talking the truth. But I'll be the voice for officers who can't speak because I have a lot of experience on this street.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, sir. I appreciate you even taking the time to call here. Appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye. You all on Facebook, I wish you all could see the conversation that is going between Mike and Charles. One white, one black, one real estate developer, one retired police officer. You all are going in. Here's my question to those of you who are responding to what Charles and Mike says. Where do we get to the place where we start to have conversations around how do we work together? Because it's not going to change if we keep fighting each other back and forth, right? This is so interesting. And are there any good police officers in your opinion? Because based on what I'm seeing here, y'all are not saying except for one person. Not all police, and I can't believe I have to say this, there are police officers out here that are actually doing their jobs. I mentor a few of them that are black, that are damn near falling over because they're hated by their family members, hated in the communities, and so we need law and order in this city. We need law and order in this country. We need police officers. So where do we go from here? Do we vilify them all, or do we root out the ones that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing? I mean, can we talk about it and be about it? I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to take Gary because Jesus, this is too much. Let me do this because I know I'm supposed to. I know Mike didn't tell me, but I am going to because I know there's a second one here that I have to do. Welcome back. It is time to reawaken, reopen, and renew. WURD Radio is kicking off our annual Early Bird Special. We have stood together every step of the way during the pandemic here at WURD. Our hosts and producers, our elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, excuse me, doctors and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and, of course, the phone lines. We stayed connected by every means necessary. Let us welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with us. Join or renew your sustaining forward membership for the special price of $75. Or, if you just want to support the work we're doing, there is now an option to become a digital forward member for as little as $5 per month. So for those of you who can do the $75, that's awesome. Visit wordradio.com/earlybird. The Welcome Back Early Bird special runs now through June 19th. Please also know that on a Friday at Lord have mercy, at the Fresh Grocer, I wrote this down. Lord, you all got me up here. Lord. I'm going to find it. At the Fresh Grocer in Ballackinwood, I believe it is. I wrote it down and can't find it now. All right. All the WURD hosts, those who are able to show up, will be there, myself included. If you want to meet me and the other WURD hosts, we are going to Monument Avenue. On Monument Avenue, we will be there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come give Marvel a handshake, a hug, a fist bump if you're vaccinated, because I'm trying to stay healthy. But come and see me. Come and say hello. I haven't had an opportunity to meet most of you since I got on the air a year and a half ago. Can you believe it's been a year and a half? Michael Cord and I are talking, and he was like, so how long have you been doing this? I tell him 18 months. He said, no way. But you see, you don't have to be somewhere for a long time to be good at it. You just have to learn, open your ears, open your eyes, learn how to talk to all kinds of people. I actually appreciate that white folks and cops and everybody else takes the opportunity to call this show, and that is because they feel it's a safe enough space for them to be heard. Hear them. Hear what they're saying. Remove the meat from the bones and do what you need to do. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Get in and get seen at the Einstein Orthopedics Fracture Care Clinic. If you think you've broken a bone or have been told by your doctor that you have a fracture, the Einstein Fracture Care Clinic offers same-day, in-person, or telehealth appointments. We don't just give you peace of mind. Einstein Orthopedics provides answers when you need them. Visit einstein.edu/fracturecare to learn more.
Hello, my name is Andrea Delzell, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old. If I had one message for the general public, it would be relax. Some folks get really flustered around disabled people, so they just pretend we're not there. I've actually had waiters talk to my companion and completely ignore me. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I have never seen so many comments on this Facebook page as I have today. I can't even read them all. Stephanie Perno says, as a retired Philadelphia police officer, police detective, I will be the first to acknowledge that there are more good, decent, hard-working cops on the streets than not. But the 10 to 15% of the rogue, racist, and corrupt bunch have been running amok for far too long with virtual impunity, not to mention the fact that many of them don't even live in Philadelphia. So where's the true incentive to serve and protect? Ciao. Well, Gary from Southwest Philadelphia. Woo. How are you, sir?
First of all, I'm fine. How was your vacation?
Child, you all just
you deserve it.
You all have warmed me up. I'm going to have to take another one, Gary. This is crazy.
Yes. Wait a minute. Andrea, the two callers, Mike and Charles, I think my blood pressure went up a little bit. Well, first of all, with Charles, I respect all police officers. They do a dangerous job. But what he did not talk about is that 10 or 15, whatever, 20% of the rogue police officers that murder our people, abuse our people. And I think it was a brother that was talking too. So, I'm glad he's retired. I'm glad
but listen. Ronald Baker Sr. said, I retired after 25 years of service. When I was on the street, when I was in South Philadelphia, we had just 4 officers on the street, which is a safety hazard, and a lot of the radio calls will not get answered until there's an officer available. Very low manpower, which then speaks to the fact that people are calling the police and nobody's showing up for 45, 50, 60 minutes because they don't know what they're coming into and they don't have the manpower. So I can see from both ends what's going on here. Who, Father?
But you know what, Andrea, when, I forget which mayor, when they decided police officers could live outside the city, and I saw advertisements out in Delaware County, I'm like, first of all, that should have never happened. And then during that period, there was much more abuse towards the black community with those officers. I'll never forget, there was an interview in an Inquirer. There was a Temple student that rode with a Philadelphia police officer one day to see what it was like in the life of a police officer. And some of the things he said to her were so negative and disrespectful to black people. But what he didn't know, she went to the Inquirer and disclosed the things that he said. So this gentleman that was just on, he said McNesby's a nice guy. I'm done. I don't have anything else to say about him. Now I'm going to go to Mike. A lot of black people aren't in the financial position to do what he said or have the information or know-how how to go through that procedure. And let's just go back to the money part. First of all, my ancestors built this country. We have never got paid a dime, the money that we should have gotten paid. So that reparations, white people have gained their wealth on the back of our ancestors. So I don't agree with his argument or his statement at all. Give us our reparations. Let us do what we need to do for ourselves, and we can move forward. But what he was talking.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Gary.
Don't blame the victim. Don't blame the victim.
Got you. I got you. So let me ask you this. When you say give us our reparations, what does reparations look like for you? This is Gary speaking. You can't speak for every black person. But what does reparations look like for you?
For me, we shouldn't have to pay not one tax in this country. And I can't give a dollar amount, but everybody's bank account should be pretty huge, There should not be a black person that has the excuse to be in poverty in this country. They can't, Andrew, they can't give us the dollar amount. They can't even write a check that big, but they need to attempt to do that. And I just wanted to add one other thing real quick. When you talked about, we talked about the Carousel House and all that, her brothers Bill and a couple other brothers. They're gentrifying this city. Go to Philly 2035, the Planning Commission. They're displacing our people, and these politicians, I want to say, they're a disgrace. I don't even want to name their names. We all know who they are, the black ones in particular. They're a disgrace. And they have done nothing but put a dagger in our back and betray the black community since we've been here. You look at our school systems, you look at the crime, what have they done? I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate your calling in. Whew. All right, so let me now take Rebecca. Are you there, Rebecca?
Hey, how you doing?
Child, you all.
How you doing, girl?
Y'all are wearing me out. I just got off of vacation.
Pardon me?
I said, you all are wearing me out.
But I haven't talked to you. But listen, I was holding on a long time because I had to say something today.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, I don't really say much.
Yes,
but anyway, I'm calling because, I used to live down the bottom, which is like the Mantua area, 52nd, 32nd and Spring Garden, in that area. And let me tell you what they're doing. I'm calling about that guy, Mike. He upset me because guess what? He don't know what he's talking about. He's talking from a white perspective. He is not talking from a black perspective. I have brothers and sisters in their 80s. And they have homes, and they don't buy flashy cars or do none of that. They worked all their life and accumulated what they've accumulated. But guess what? We didn't realize it at that time, but, everything is down there. The art museum, the zoo. You can walk
Come
to the
on,
school,
Rebecca,
come on.
Yes.
We didn't realize what we had when we were down there. They're down there. Guess what? Now they're doing gentrification. They're making people leave, and they have homes. But the taxes are so high now. And I'm saying they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do none of that. It's very difficult. They're in their 80s, but they worked all their lives. So he doesn't know what it's like to be a black person. He's speaking from a white perspective. Because when I was there, you know who was that Rizzo? He was horrible, okay? And did all kinds of things and got away with it. So I had to call and say something about that. Because this is true. He did not know what he's talking about. I'm sorry, because you don't have to be a person to be flashy and all that. You can be a hard worker. But we don't have the money that they have. Their mother and father might have left them. I'm a nurse, went to college, and worked hard. My children went to college. But I'm saying, I don't have $1 million. I'm telling you. And my brothers and sisters, they're in their 80s. Guess what? They get Social Security and they get pension. But guess what? How far can that go? And I'm saying they're not flamboyant or anything. No, they're black.
Right.
So he didn't know what he's talking about. So I had to say that, okay? God
Thank you, my sister. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Bye-bye. Who, Father? Let me see. Jacob. Lord Jesus. Jacob, are you there?
Peace be unto you, my sister. Welcome back.
Let me tell you something. You all.
Well, you know, hey, look, sister, it's hard as fish grease outside, so I know you ready. But you know what? Look, I listened, and the one who said that McNesby is okay, the one that's retiring, I want to ask him, was he invited to the cookout with the Proud Boys? And did he's okay, and he called our people rabid animals? You kill rabid animals, right? So, I mean, and these guys are talking like we got to beg the police officers. Oh, whoa.
Right.
If they would stop being racist and denying young black men the job, talking about they got bad credit. What? You mean to tell me that's what you stopped them from going to the police academy is because they got bad credit?
Did you see that they're... Did you see, Jacob, excuse me for cutting you off, did you see that they're now requiring that you live in the city to apply to work in the police department?
Well, and I don't see anything wrong with that because you should live in the city.
Right.
Let me say this here. All them areas that they're gentrifying, right, with the whites, they ain't going to have no problem begging police officers to come. And already, when you get shot walking your dog or whatever in these gentrified areas, in 2 days they got the killer. So let's not play these stupid games.
So Jacob, did you hear?
We have to beg them.
But Jacob,
and we shouldn't say anything about the 15% of people who say they hate black people, the police officers that we got together and marched on and got them fired, and they trying to get their jobs back. They need to stop thinking that, they need to stop wetting on us and telling us it's raining.
So let me ask you this. But let me ask you this though, Jacob. Jacob, listen to Mother for a second. Did you hear him though? Did you hear what he was saying? He said that there are there are not enough officers on the street. They are hurt. Their feelings are hurt. They are feeling offended by the fact that they're hated and vilified, and so they're just going to work, going through their shift and go home. Wait, Jacob, because I want you to hear what he said. Doing their shift and going home. Right? So they're not even trying to fully solve what's going on out there because they're so frustrated and they don't feel like they're appreciated for what they're doing in the city. Did you hear him say that?
Okay, I hear what you said. Well, then quit. And that's not the same thing if you white and get shot. So you telling me that, I don't care how they feel. They signed up for that job. And we don't have to beg them for the protection that we pay them for.
Gotcha.
And we don't have to be white to receive what we expect any white person. They're not moving to this city, these rich white people, and think that, oh, my God, it's that. Nah, they know when they move in that the police are going to protect them. And as black people, I'm sick of them, again, wetting on us and telling us it's raining because we work now, okay? And if you don't like the job, doggone it, quit. And we'll get and stop being racist. And the young black men that would make good police officers and raise their family that live in the city, stop denying them to go to the academy and pass with flying colors because they got bad credit. So stop talking down to us. We're sick of it.
Got you, Jacob. You're welcome, my brother. Thank you for calling in. Father God, I stretch my hands to thee. You all. Who? I think you better call Tyrone. Hi, Tyrone. Call him. Tyrone, are you there? Wait a minute. Did Tyrone hang up? Is he gone, Michael? I just want to make sure. Michael is talking to me. I think Tyrone is gone. You all made me work hard for my coins today. He hung up. All right, Tyrone, call back if you want to quickly. So let me just see what I can talk about. Lord have mercy. So much is going on. Father, we had to talk about something other than this madness. Oh, Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany, call back in, honey, because I think the lines are empty right now. You better hurry up if you want to. Let me just see what this is. All right, so this is from the Philadelphia Inquirer. It says, court orders Philadelphia police to change quality of life enforcement to curb racial disparity. A federal judge ordered the change over the objection of the Philadelphia Police Department. City lawyers call it draconian, unwarranted, and wholly Tyrone is back. Wholly unprecedented. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Michael and talking to you all at the same time. Starting August 1st in Northwest Philadelphia, police officers will no longer be permitted to stop, question, or detain people for quality of life violations. Samantha Melamed published this on June 4th. Look at all these people calling in. Hold on. Potentially including panhandling, smoking marijuana, urinating in public, or holding open liquor containers. Instead, police must first tell the offender to cease the behavior or move along. Lord Jesus, this is going to be a situation. I can already. Let me just go ahead. Tyrone, how are you, honey?
Hello, Mother Earth.
Hi, sweetie. You missed me?
How are you? Hey, Mother.
Yes.
Mother, do me a favor, please.
Yes.
Why I say peace and blessings and much love to you, your family, and to my WURD family. Just tell me one thing. Just blow me up. Just tell me one thing you did during your vacation, and then I'll get to my point. I just want to feel you. Because, when you talk about how much you love doing something, and you sure enough talk about your love for being with your family and being home and having time for yourself. Just tell me one thing so I can feel you.
So I
want to feel you. I love you so much. I want to feel you.
So every morning, the breakfast, we had a big Jamaican breakfast, and we sat at the table. Somebody sets the table. My brother-in-law would make the breakfast. It was ackee and saltfish and dumpling and yam and banana, and we would just and fried plantains, and we would just enjoy ourselves and talk. Every evening, it was a big dinner like stew peas and rice, jerk pork, jerk chicken, and what helped me, good food, and what helped me immensely, Tyrone, was that I was around family. So I didn't have to, I could exhale. I could exhale and be Andrea. Not that I'm not myself, because Lord Jesus, I don't know how to put on airs for anybody else. I just can't do it. But it was so heartwarming to see my sisters and to hug them and to hear our husbands talk about how much we sound alike, how we're all alike, how frightening we can be, because we are powerful voices. Our parents raised us that way, and none of us are short people. The shortest one amongst us is 5'7", 6 feet tall, 5'10", 5'9". So it was amazing. I enjoyed myself, and thank you, my brother, for asking. I appreciate it. Okay?
And Mother, you see how good that felt? And you know what, Mother? I would stand out with y'all because I'm only 5'3".
Yeah.
Hey, but ask anybody, I am a giant 5'3". I ain't no joke, and everybody that know me knows that.
Yeah.
But Mother, just change the subject. First of all, in terms of the conversation all morning long and this afternoon, is about the difference that how we're living in this country. And one of the big difference is the Republicans, of those folks that have it going on, they try to do everything they can to keep those that don't have it going on from being able to enjoy what they enjoy in terms of living. And that
but Tyrone, we're missing it. We're missing it, Tyrone. We're missing it because we're so busy fighting.
Yes. So, Mother, this is what I'm always going to put on the table because I had the opportunity to read Sultan Ahmed's Human Bond. See, we keep investing in everything. We keep investing in bricks and water. We keep investing in systems. We keep investing in, the things other than those who are being impacted by everything, and that's the human being. That's why it is so important for this city to put the capital human bond on the ballot if they refuse to pass. Let the people in this city have an opportunity to vote, because if they can always invest, $100 million here, $400 million there, $304 million on this, that, and the other. What is it? Why is it so, unreasonable to invest $600 million on people?
But Tyrone, check it out. I just read, first of all, the Facebook page is hopping. Al Montaquin Ali, I hope I didn't mess up your name horribly. Montaquin Ali says, remember City Council passed these laws. We lost some family property. Even after testimony in council by our family, they took our property with eminent domain, gave it to developers. They forced our hands for pennies. So there's a lot of that happening out there, too, that we're not talking about, right? It's just a lot. It's like,
But, Mother, see, I keep reminding everyone, the first eminent domain of our era, there might have been others, but the main one was I-95. When they did the I-95 and took all of those black folks' homes on Lumber Street, South Street, all of our business district, when people were, there was some camaraderie, the clubs, the nightclubs, folks were going in together. We was a community. When they did that, gave folks $2,000, and anybody think I'm making this up, go look at it. It's in black and white. It's part of the city document. Gave folks $2,000 for their home.
Property.
And then when I-95 decided not to come through the area, the shells went for $50,000 and $60,000. Why couldn't they just give them properties back, or have the folks who they gave $2,000 to have the opportunity to buy their property back, to rebuild back their neighborhood? Know why? Because they have already put in place all the move us out propositions that is happening in this city. So, Mother, I always love you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, my brother.
We got to put Sultan Ahmed bond in place. We're losing too many lives. People are just frustrated. People are just going through mental health and need help. Just like that young man that shot that young lady down at Fifth High. Just like the 12-year-old and the 14-year-old having a gun battle with the police. That's not, even though it might have happened in Florida, it's in the minds of our children right here in Philadelphia.
Right.
Folks better wake up and do something significant and stop playing with our lives, because it ain't going to be this easy cakewalk.
Tyrone. And let me say this to you, it's going to get worse. I don't know any other way to say it to folks. We're fighting. We're arguing. Thank you for calling in, my brother. I appreciate you. We're fighting. We're arguing. We love you, too. Got you fighting, arguing about these things. And there's just some stuff coming down the pike, y'all. And I think it's designed for us to continue to be in this space where we are, because our brains are so tired and so fried from all the foolishness. I've got two more callers, and look like Michael just texted me again, so I may be another one. before I end the show today, but y'all are just amazing. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Between family dinners, bedtime stories, and study sessions, Pico knows that life never stops moving. So if your energy bills are adding up, Pico has programs available, like new payment options, flexible billing, and financial assistance to help you manage your bills and your budget for the essential energy you and your family need. Learn how Pico can help keep your life moving with payment arrangements. See if you qualify at pico.com/help.
Equitable Advisors Financial Professionals know the path to a fulfilling future begins with getting to know who you are and what matters to you most. They work with people as individuals, not dollars and stats. That's how they deliver on their mission. Talk to your local Equitable Advisors Financial Professionals, Ryan Smith and Jacob McCoya, at 800-879-9016. Together, you can plan for a future that reflects all of who you are. Equitable Advisors, LLC, New York, New York, 212-314-4600, member FINRA, SIPC.
Welcome Black. It's time to reawaken, reopen, and renew as WURD kicks off our annual 4WURD Early Bird Membership Special. Beginning Monday, June 7th, we've stood together every step of the way during the pandemic. Here at WURD, our hosts and producers, elders, parents, children, teachers, doctors, and community leaders stood up, shared resources, and supported each other through the airwaves, virtual events, and of course, the phone lines. We've stayed connected by every means necessary. Let's welcome the new season, the reopening of the city, and our new normal together. Stand with WURD. Join us Friday, June 11th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for our first In the Community broadcast in over a year as we broadcast live from Fresh Grocer, 4160 Monument Road. It's WURD Radio back in the community. Start or renew your sustaining 4WURD membership for the special discounted price of $75. Or if you just want to support the work we're doing, there is now an option to become a digital 4WURD member for as little as $5 per month. Visit WURDradio.com/earlybird between June 7th and June 19th to take advantage of our early bird discounted membership special. The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to the final segment of The Source. Just so I remind you, Fresh Grocer this Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 4160 Monument Road. The WURD hosts, some of the producers. I'm not sure all who are going to be there, but Marva will be there. So if you have never met me and you want to come on out and let's talk, and you can renew your 4WURD membership for $75 or do a monthly subscription for $5, I would love to see all of you. George, Prince, Maurice from Southwest, all of you, show up. Let Marva see your faces, because Lord Jesus, I must have talked to you in my sleep after getting off the radio. So let me take these last two callers. Let me see. Yusef, how are you, my brother?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to give my kudos to Gary. He keeps it real, and Miss Rebecca. You know, they keep it real. You know, they got a called in from New Jersey and said that he wasn't a racist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're not a racist, you don't have to stress it. All you have to do is say what you have to say. When people say that they're not something, most of the time that's just what they are, but they're trying to disguise it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Yusef. Always listen, see, Yusef Coleman said 30 seconds and roll on. Oh, well, bless your heart. Elias, how are you? Elias?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. What's going on, my brother?
Okay. Hey, listen real quick, because I know your show is over. I don't have enough time to explain to you, but I need a lawyer, preferably Michael Core. Is he with you?
He's not with me, but, you know, Michael and I have been talking about doing shows together because we just bat off of each other. Michael says he gets dozens of emails every day. What's up?
I got a big, it's going to be in the, and Michael Core can school me on this. I want to sue, the United States of America government, representing our Black and Latinos poor crime-riddled community. They have for the past 35 years only in these communities allowing and approving ordinance for all types of stop-and-go beer delis, bodega stores that sell all these drug paraphernalia. That's the suit would be an assault to our Black Latino community and the whole United States. And if we win the case, the money that we're going to ask for will only strictly be to open up Black and American Latino stores, that only sell food essentials and essentials. We don't need alcohol in our community like that. We don't need all types of blunt rappers in our community. This is an assault, and it's obvious. So they do admit it. They have certain bills pertaining to these nuisance stores, right? The United States of America admitted to that. Well, guess what? We have a case because the government has allowed these people to prey on our communities, and it's all about revenue. All those condiments, alcoholic condiments, drug paraphernalia are taxed. That's revenue for all these, for the state and the city. So I think we got a case here.
Agreed. Okay. All right. So
it's just me.
Hey. Email Michael is michaelcordx@gmail.com.
Are you on tomorrow?
Yes, sir. I'm on.
I'll call you tomorrow because I'm about to go to work. I'm very walked in, but yes, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you all so much. All right, bye-bye. I'm going to read this last bit of information. You all, I felt like I have not left the radio station in the week that I was going, but you hear my voice is stronger, right? I feel so much better, so thank you all so much. This just in, Washington, CNN. U.S. investigators have recovered millions of dollars in cryptocurrency paid in ransom to hackers whose attack prompted the shutdown of the key East Coast pipeline last month, according to the people briefed on the matter. The Justice Department on Monday is expected to announce the details of the operation led by the FBI with the cooperation of the Colonial Pipeline operator, the people briefed on the matter said. The ransom recovery is a rare outcome for a company that has fallen victim to a debilitating cyber attack in the booming criminal business of ransomware. Colonial Pipeline Company CEO Joseph Blount told the Wall Street Journal in an interview published last month that the company complied with the $4.4 million ransom demand because officials didn't know the extent of the intrusion by hackers and how long it would take to restore operations. But behind the scenes, the company had taken early steps to notify the FBI and followed instructions that helped investigators track the payment to a cryptocurrency wallet used by the hackers believed to be based in Russia. U.S. officials have linked the Colonial attack to a criminal hacking group known as DarkSide that is said to share its malware tools with other criminal hackers. Ooh-wee. Michael says, welcome back. You have 15 callers today. Oh, my gosh, I can't. Oh my gosh, I can't. So I am so looking forward to seeing all of you on Friday. Seriously, if we have not met, if you have been talking to me on the air every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for the last year and a half, please come. I mean, we don't know if the country's going to be shut down again. People are being vaccinated, not vaccinated. We just don't know. And there's so much happening, and tomorrow is not promised for any of us. While I have loved on you with my voice on the air, I'd love to love on you in person, right? To say hello, to talk to you, to spend more time, because we'll be out there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Monument Road, the Fresh Grocer, which is 4160 Monument Road. I'm going to say this again on Tuesday and on Thursday. So if you really want to come out, come see Mother, and let's talk, okay? I am so appreciative of all of you and what's been going on in the city. You all have, Oh, let me say this while I'm at it. June marks Pride Month, a celebration of the LGBT community and the fight for rights, marking the anniversary of the Stonewall riots in New York City in June 1969. For those of you who think I shouldn't talk about the LGBT community, they're a part of us too. They live here. They're our children, our grandchildren, our cousins, our nieces, our nephews, our fathers, our mothers, and so we don't want to not speak about them and work alongside them because they're here with our with us, right? And so in Philadelphia, the month is full of events that honor the contributions that LGBT community members have made to this city and bring awareness of the issues that queer people still face. And while there won't be a parade this year, again, there are lots of Pride events happening in Philly all month long. And so they'll update the calendar as more things are announced. Let me see what is going on here. Apple Music to release Juneteenth 2021 Freedom Songs featuring new songs and covers. Juneteenth, observed on June 19th, is definitely one of the most significant celebrations in Black culture. As you know, celebrations typically come with a dope soundtrack, and Juneteenth is no exception. Very Smart Brothers even curated a playlist for the Black holiday. I can't read that other part in 2020. I love TheRoot.com. This year, Apple Music announced their new original playlist titled Juneteenth 2021 Freedom Songs, featuring artists such as Black Thought, D Smoke, Her, Kirk Franklin, Chloe X Halle, Toby Nigwigwe, I can't stand messing up people's names, and more. 2021 marks an important moment in Black history, in Juneteenth finally being recognized as a holiday by cities and states across America. Until now, many people were not taught about the importance of June 19th in public schools and corporations, and state governments weren't giving time off. This is a very big moment in history that the mainstream is embracing and acknowledging. The day enslaved Black Africans were set free from physical bondage by the United States government, a painful part of American history that can no longer be a side note. Ibra Darden, Apple Music Global Head of Hip Hop and R&B, said in a statement via press release sent to The Root. Man, it's going to be a hot summer. I can't wait. It's 93 degrees outside. Woo, woo, woo. Hey, and so we're done for the day. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I love you all. I love you all. I love you for making my first day back exciting as hell. And I said when, you know, this is going to be, yes, you're right, Rashad, Black Pride. It's Black Music Month too, and Caribbean Month before that. So you're right. You're absolutely right. So much going on, but I need you all to kind of remind me and hold me accountable. So, onWURD. Okay. Makes great music, and I should check him out. All right, Michael, I will. It's 3:55. I don't believe in holding up other hosts, so coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.